This presentation is made for companies, especially SMEs, looking for implementing for CSRD or ESRS to understand the benefits and reasons why a company should get involved. EGLA Global, previously known as European Green Lean Association EGLA, is a non-profit company or organization, NGO, that has a mission to develop sustainable future. And this material is made to give general information for interested people. To understand the basics, you have to know that there is now two mandatory directive and standard set in European Union that applies this year to all companies that are in stock exchange markets and their value chain companies. From next year, it will be expanded to other major companies and from 26-27 to certain SMEs. When we look at the big picture, on the blue side you see the basic needs for any society or company or people working in and living in societies. So basic needs like food, shelter and so on, well-being, work conditions, those are mainly covered in European Union by the legislation. Where there is more to do is the green side. So resource capacity, healthy ecosystems, and climate change. Those are the main things that are now under focus based on the CSRD. To understand the sustainable development in the big picture, it is there, and the whole CSRD, ESRS package is made to help companies to improve the position in the markets. As Mrs. Gro Harlem Brundtland, previous president of Iceland, told already in 1987, we need to do development that satisfies the needs for present without stealing the future generation to means to satisfy their needs. That is the whole thinking behind sustainable development. For companies, we have to think of two major things. How to make this a competitive advantage and how companies can benefit of sustainable development. You see here people, economics and nature. So we also say people, profits and planet, or people, planet, profits. Sustainable is in the core of all these things. And sustainable development is consisting of these three main pillars. The whole development started already about 10 years ago with non-financial reporting directive of EU that was covering major corporations and financial institutions. The idea was to put in annual reporting also comments about responsibility and sustainability and start reporting on those. 2015, United Nations published their 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and at the same time we had the Paris Convention for Climate Change that set already rules how to improve the situation regarding the climate. 2019, European Union published what is called the Green Deal, which is a package of things that needs to be done for sustainable development, and it was using the principle of something called ESG, environmental, social and governance responsibility thinking, which at this stage was voluntary mostly, but many companies went to that because it gave already certain business advantages. In the time, things like ISO systems, ISO 9001, 14001, 26000, and 45001, to mention the main ones, were actually lined up with the ESG needs. Also, the United Nations GRI, Global Reporting Initiative under UNEP organization, and the corporate sustainable, responsible, social responsible thinking was added in a package. At the end of 2022, the CSRD, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, was published, and then last year in July 2023, the actual standard setting the rules how to apply CSRD and how to report. Just few things in a nutshell. This will be mandatory reporting in addition to financial reporting. And the focus will really be in 3 sustainable development areas: economic, ecological, and social sustainability. And like I said, it will cover both big companies and chosen SMEs. And it is required for the whole supply chain for any corporation and major company starting next year. There is 3 main elements, like you already saw. So the green part is what is called the natural or nature environment points. Blue part is the governance points, and red part are the social responsibility or social sustainability parts. And when we think about the governance and strategy, it's split to these 5 main areas. This is basically area where you control the basics, and it's in many parts included in fiscal reporting already. Things like sustainable governance, corruption prevention, sustainability strategy, research and development based on sustainability thinking, and risk management, including environmental risks, both operative and natural environment in the picture, are included in this part. Natural environment includes these 4 elements. So this is to think about more green way. Think about energy use and costs in different forms of energy. Greenhouse gases and emissions, so the GHG measurements that many companies have already done for a few years. Use of waters and their scarcity, and pollution prevention. And there are some additional EU directives that affect on these areas too. In actual trainings, we'll cover those more in detail. To understand the importance of natural environment, you have to think about the fact that we are actually surrounded by the natural environment. In the 5 capitals model, it's taken out in a bigger picture. And it's very important to understand the impact and significance of the natural environment and nature on people's health and well-being as well. Those things have been studied widely, and there is no doubt that if the nature around us is suffering, also we humans suffer. This is shortly the EGLA's version about the 5 capitals model. The biggest change is in the production capital, which is in many materials and original thinking said as manufactured capital. But when we think about the big picture, also the service industries, communities, public sector, we can't only look at the manufactured capital, we have to speak about production capital. Social environment is the 3rd part, and that includes work relations, personnel and HRD, what is called license to operate, people's skills and functions, effect on aging society, and supply chain reliability. And the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals include many of these. If you're looking for more information, please contact us either through our email, egla@eglaglobal.net, or through our local representatives. We are going through, as organizations, some changes in some countries, so few countries where we have been operating are now not having the leading partner, and that's why we will inform those later. Thank you for listening. We look forward to help you in the future if needed.